I did not pack nearly enough quartz to do this job. Howdy, Mr. Good Guy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to more Subnautica. So, today, what are we doing today? Well, recently, I've been getting lots of comments. People just been like, Mike, Good Guy Mike, listen to me. Just go out and let your creative juices flow. Just let your juices flow all over your buildings and just let it happen. And just build something, build anything. So that's what we're doing, guys. So what we're doing today is we are going to be building lots of cool stuff, or at least what I think is cool stuff. Hopefully you guys think it's cool stuff. We're going to find out one way or the other. Thanks for watching today, guys. I do appreciate it. If you guys appreciate it as much as I do, then hit that like button. All that sort of good stuff. All right, let's do it. Okay, so this is what my thought process is I was thinking, okay, someone said a green room, which is cool. I like that concept. And then they also, someone was complaining I wasn't picking up the eggs because I haven't done that in ages. So I was thinking, why don't we build like a giant fish tank that we're going to use purely for dangerous fauna, right? And then on top of that, we'll build, and then we'll also build a green room as well that just has like a ton of freaking cool plants and garbage like that. So yeah, let me see what I have in mind. I currently have nothing. But anyways, welcome back to the show, guys. I hope you appreciate it. If you do, hit that like button. We've been doing amazing, guys, which is super awesome. We've been picking up new people every day, and it's great. So for all those new guys out there, welcome to the show. I spent a lot of time gathering, those are the ones I haven't converted yet. I spent a lot of time gathering some resources. I went out and I gathered tons of titanium, tons of quartz, like way more quartz than I have titanium, so that might be a little bit worrisome. But yeah, so that in hopes that we can build some cool stuff around our base. But yeah, anyways, welcome to the show, and thanks for stopping by. Give me a chance. I do appreciate it. If you guys appreciate it as much as I do, I would be absolutely honored if you hit that like button. Join the Good Guy Knights, all that sort of good stuff. Okay, so somebody said that we can... Oh my goodness, they're right. Okay, so we're going to build... I'm thinking maybe 4 rooms around here. Okay? One's going to be a green room. One's going to be... Or we have 2 green rooms. And then, like... what do you call it? A fish tank that has all the stuff. I don't know, because I kind of want to have like a place where we could run laps, if that makes sense. And so I was thinking maybe like a bunch of green rooms. Like one room with a bunch of fish tanks, one room with a bunch of green rooms. So maybe I build off of this one. Hold on. So let's deconstruct this one. Okay, so this is my thought process, right? If we're underwater... we'll stay in really good shape, like, because we're swimming all the time and finding resources that way. But sometimes, you know, you wanna work out, you know, in other ways. You want to lift weights, or you want to go for a run. And the fact that there's no dry land makes going for a run a little bit difficult. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually create a running area, and we're gonna make it feel like you're running outside by just having a ton of plants and stuff like that all around us. Okay, so let's see. Do we do 4 by? Do you think 2 by 2 is good enough? I think 2 by 2 is good enough. Yeah, let's do a 2 by 2, okay? There we go. Oh, excuse me, as I cough up all of my intestines. But anyways, guys, so I was thinking today would be a good time to just kind of talk as well, since we're doing just lots of building. Instead of just being like lots of okays and stuff like that, let's talk about stuff that, oh my goodness, I'm dying. About that's been on my mind, you know? So... One of the things that's been on my mind is, oh my goodness, I need to go get more iron than I thought I needed. So one of the things that's been on my mind lately is YouTube. You know, because a few people have been asking me, you know, especially as I reach the end of my college career, and granted I still have another year, like, what am I going to do? Like, am I going to keep doing YouTube, or, you know, like, what if, you know, because at the moment it's very far from sustainable, right? Like, we're closer with YouTube to keeping it sustainable career than we ever have been, right? And I think that there's a very real possibility that we by the end of college, I hit to the point where I can do YouTube as a full-time job. But also, we're sitting in this precarious position where there's a very real chance that I don't hit that point. And so a lot of people have been asking me, you know, like, Mike, what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do? You know, like, aren't you scared and stuff like that? And I was like, yeah, you know, I am. But, and some of you guys know this. Louis C.K. is one of my all-time heroes. I absolutely revere Louis C.K. I think he's absolutely hilarious. A lot of people think he's crude and like unnecessarily crude and stuff like that, and that, you know, he's vulgar, which he absolutely is. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that Louis C.K. is not vulgar. But you know what? He he has a lot of really damn good things to say. And one of his things that he talks about, is the fact that... So I'll tell you a story about his, okay? The fact that he's been doing comedy for ages. After high school, he didn't get any formal education. He didn't go and become get a formal job or anything like that. And so for 15 years he tried to be a comedian, and life kind of just beat him up about it. Not his wife, life. He tried really freaking hard to pursue this passion, and things just kept just crapping all over him, right? And he just kept hitting road bump after road bump, and he hit a point where he was doing jobs at Chinese restaurants, not like a Chinese comedy club, but like a Chinese food restaurant where people would come in and they wouldn't even know a comic was coming in. They would just they sit down and Louis C.K. would is this thing on, and the people would be like, oh, come on, man, we're trying to eat, right? And George Carlin was his hero, right? Which is funny because George Carlin is, one of the best comedians ever. And I was also, I look up to him. And, he revered George Carlin because George Carlin was the Louis C.K. of Louis C.K.'s time when Louis C.K. was my age, right? And so he looked up to him, absolutely. And, George Carlin was talking about how he did a different set every time. And... every year he had a new set, and Louis C.K. had been doing the same jokes for 15 years, and it totally that just kind of destroyed him. He was so upset that he's been trying so freaking hard to make this one set good, and George Carlin could come along and kill it every year, And they asked him how do you do that? And he's like, I just do it. There's no silver bullet for this, really. I just go out and I do it, and that was so earth shattering for him. And Louis C.K. Came out and told, was at the end of his wits and told some very risque jokes. And they got, he told a joke. And for those guys who know Louis C.K., will probably know this joke. I'm not going to actually go out and say it, but where he talks about, his kids and the fact that he hadn't been intimate with his wife for ages. And a large portion of it was because of his kids. And so... I'm trying to think of the best way to say the joke without totally being wildly offensive, which there's no way because it's a Louis C.K. joke. So I think we can do. Hold on, we can do 2 in each of these. I really want to get all these windows completely packed with glass, but he told this very risque joke. And he got a very oh sort of laugh, right? And he decided that moment, that was better than intrepid laughter, right? And that he was going to from that point on, he was going to step outside of his comfort zone and really push himself and try something new. And that's a position I'm learning now that I did not pack nearly enough quartz to do this job. And that's a position, that I'm hitting, is I'm in a position where I'm uncomfortable. I'm sort of, I'm butting up against walls and stuff like that. And so, I gotta try and do something new each time, I gotta really push myself to be better each time instead of just sticking to the same, pardon me, same stuff. So, and, I gotta figure out some way to bust the mold. Otherwise, I'm going to be forever stuck. And, so there's a lot of takeaways from that. And I think that there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from that. And I don't know. If you guys are looking for somebody to look up to, somebody who's been around the block a ton and had a lot of failures and is, I have so many thoughts inside my head that are coming together at the same time. And it's so difficult to, vocalize all of them at once. But, if you want to look for somebody to inspire you, right? If you want to find yourself a hero or a role model, don't look to somebody who was a prodigy, right? Don't look to somebody who, found the silver bullet when they were a young kid and had it the whole way. If you want to find, so for me, it's tough for me to find heroes and role models to follow because. There is my career field that I'm trying to pursue is so new, but in a way it's not. Comedy is essentially is at the at the key of what I'm doing, right? I'm trying to tell jokes. I'm trying to entertain somebody. At my core, YouTube is an entertainer, right? And so I'm not some special snowflake that this has never been done before, because there's been giants who've come before me, like George Carlin and Louis C.K., but I don't want to focus on the people who were wildly successful since the beginning. So I wouldn't want to focus on Dane Cook, because Dane Cook's not a good example, because he, was wildly successful right off the bat. He was this rocket ship right to the top, and then he hit a speed bump, and where the hell did Dane Cook go? Nobody knows where Dane Cook's at anymore, right? But Louis C.K., a lot of people know him because of, in recent years, but the dude's been around for ages. I mean, the dude's 45 or something like that, and he's been doing comedy since he was like 18 or 16 or something like that. Like, so the guy's has a body of work that's 20 years old. Not even that. Sorry, that's terrible math. That has, a body of work that's like almost 30 years old. And it's, the guy's been doing comedy longer than I've been alive. So, and only recently would you say that he's become wildly successful. So he would be the person that I would point to as, like, look at him and follow him, because, he didn't have the silver bullet, but he worked freaking hard, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned from that. Because, there's a lot of, and this is goes back to a quote that my father used to say, right? There's a lot of talented people, right? There's everywhere you look, right? There's talented people who are doing what you want to do and are just naturally better than you, right? Unless you're one of those people, and then congratulations, and be careful, because there's those people, but a lot of them you don't see them after a long amount of time, and the reason is because they end up quitting, they end up washing up, and that's because hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's such a true statement. My father used to say that when I was a young kid, and I used to hate it, right? Because that's one of the things, is that people will look at me and say that I'm a fairly accomplished athlete, right? I ran track for 4 years. 1 year at NAI, and then 3 years at the Division 1 level. I have a ton of medals for my accomplishments in high school. I'm a very accomplished athlete, and so people want to say that I'm a very talented athlete, but that's not the truth. I'm not a talented athlete. I was never the kid that blew people away ever since I was a little kid, right? In fact, my brother was biologically faster than me. And I remember being little kids and running races against him, and being ticked beyond all get out that my brother was faster than me naturally, and I couldn't believe it. And I would run so freaking hard. And I remember him running and beating me and laughing that he could beat me and stuff, and being just like, I don't know if I just beat you. Just beat you, that's how it goes, right? And getting so mad about it. And my dad being like, listen, sometimes people are just gonna, there's a lesson to be learned here. Sometimes people are just gonna be faster than you. But you know what? He's not gonna stay faster than you forever if you work your butt off. And so I started working my butt off. And I was in like 6th grade or something like that. And I started doing star jumps in my basement. And it's a very simple exercise, but, it's something that I thought would help. And honestly, at that point, anything would help. And I was doing lots of star jumps so that I could get more explosive and I could jump higher. And, that wasn't when I was in 6th grade, so I was a young kid. And I remember my brother coming down into the basement and seeing me do these star jumps and looking at me like I had 2 heads and being like, why are you doing those? Why are you doing those? Did Dad tell you to do those? And I was like, no. Oh, I forgot about this whole thing of, I forgot about this. Sorry about that. I totally forgot I had to go deal something. But so anyways, and I've totally forgot that I had a ton of quartz in here. So I was gonna say I thought I'd collected more quartz than that. But anyways, so I remember being incredibly upset, that he was faster than me. And so I started doing my star jumps, and I remember him looking at me and asking me, like, why the heck I was doing that, and did my dad tell me to do that? I was like, no, I want to be faster, so I'm doing this. And him laughing at me and telling me that it looked dumb and that it wouldn't work. And granted, we were like, we were the kids, and so I was like, what do you know? Like, you're the same age as I am. and you've never worked hard to be fast, you know, you just were happen to be fast. And so I blew him off and I kept doing it. And then before I knew it, like, track season had come around and I kicked his butt, like absolutely kicked his butt. And that was the first year that I remember being like seriously fast, was like 7th grade or something like that. And granted, I've been doing sports since I was in, you know, forever. I mean, I did Rotary basketball when I was a little kid, and then I've done football and track since I was in like 2nd grade or something like that. Like a ridiculously long time. My sports career is very, very long. And it was 7th or 8th grade, 7th or 6th, it was 7th grade, I believe, was the first year that I remember being very fast, you know, where things just started clicking. And it was because in the basement, I'd done that workout in the preseason by myself, being explosive. And I was faster than him, and he was incredibly mad. And it just kept going from there. And granted, you know, I eventually hit my season, or I eventually hit my ceiling, pardon me. But it wasn't until college that I hit my ceiling. You know, I hit my cap when I was in college, and that's one of the things that I don't feel bad about, you know, because I quit college before I'd finished up my senior year, my 4th year of track. Because technically I would have had 5 years of college track, because I was going to redshirt year, and then, but I was at a ceiling and I was comfortable with stopping at where I was at. And you know, and the reason why is because I'd hit a point where you know, I wasn't the most talented person in track. I was a freaking hard worker, and hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? But eventually I met a bunch of amazing people who worked, you know, they may have not worked as hard as me, but they had more talent than me and more natural ability, and they worked hard enough. And I'm not going to discredit my teammates. They're absolutely amazing people that I wouldn't change my collegiate track career for the world. But you know what? I got to where I was at because I worked my freaking butt off. And that's, you know, nothing can ever change that. And so I approach YouTube with the same aspects, you know? There's a lot of people on YouTube who hit YouTube, and they caught some sort of wave, and they just did well. And then they shot up to a certain number, and some of them shot up really quick to like a huge ceiling, some of them not so much. Oh, we need to replace the battery on this. Some of them, some people's ceilings are different levels, and a lot of them, have shot up and gotten past me in much less time, because I've been doing YouTube for 3 years now, and then the thing is that they wash up because they never had to hit that struggle. For me, on the other hand, I've had to struggle with so many different things, and one of these days I'll sit down and I'll tell you guys about my sports career, because I'm really proud of it. It's in a position that I'm proud of, but it was, god dang it, it was never given to me. Nothing I ever did in my sports career was ever given to me. And so I learned to persevere, and I learned to work hard, and I learned to keep doing stuff, even though people laughed at me and thought it was ridiculous and thought it would never work out. And that's a huge lesson that I will take with me. So, and Louis C.K. was the same. Oh, pardon me. Is the same deal. He, he kept going, even though people told him he should quit. People thought his sets weren't good enough. And you know what? He finally punched through that ceiling and made his mark on the world. And that's what I'm at the point where I just gotta keep, every time I do a video, I need to try and get better. Every time I approach anything, I need to approach it with a competitor's attitude and try and be better, try and produce the best content, and then, there's a bunch of other things. But, we'll cover that in another episode while we're building, because I don't know, I'm in a mood where I feel like I need to express my thoughts and share my sort of wisdoms and colloquialisms with other people. What makes me tick? Because, that's one of the things, is that I really want to build a very close-knit community here with the good guys. And part of building that close-knit community is that you guys, have to know who I am. And so the only way to show you guys who I am is by, by talking to you guys and letting you know. I think what we'll do is we'll replace some of these walls with vegetation as well as windows. So I think we'll do 50-50, 50 vegetation, 50 windows. So this one could use another window. Here we go. Put a window right here. Okay. Good deal. We want them kind of like a random assortment. How many more windows do I have? I have 3 more windows. And we're almost out of time for today's episode. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope I made a little bit of sense while I was talking. I wasn't just completely bat crap insane. Okay, so we're actually out of time for this episode. I think I'm gonna put in. Actually, I have more room for windows than I thought I did. What's a cool? Where would be a cool place to put a window? Let's put another window in this one. Right here. And then we'll call that good. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you appreciate it. If you did, leave that like button. Leave your thoughts on my my philosophies, and if you guys agree with them or not. Okay. So, anyways, you guys keep your eyes, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy. Bye.